Alright fellas, now one of the most impressive performances at UFC 308 came at the hands of one-eyed fighter Shara Magomedov, also known as Shara Bullet. The self-dubbed pirate has officially announced himself on the world stage. Rather than just being one of the more interesting looking fighters on the roster, he has proven to have the skills to back himself. So I want to look at just who is the man Dana has dubbed a promoter's dream, a bit of a look at the fight at UFC 308, as well as looking at his prospects in the future. Now with a record of 15-0, it brings a lot of eyes, and by many he is seen as one of the hottest prospects in the sport. Compared to a lot of the other Dagestani fighters, his main specialty isn't grappling. With a background in Muay Thai and kickboxing, he brings something a bit different compared to the fighters from the same region. Now, other than him being a ranger, one thing which is overly notable about him is his right eye. Now, this isn't a condition from birth. He suffered an injury in 2016, and because of a lack of proper medical attention, the condition worsened. He had 8 surgeries over a 1.5 year period and eventually lost complete vision in that eye. Yet this condition didn't stop him. He decided to transition to MMA from kickboxing after a career where he had a solid record of 18-2. Simply because MMA pays better. He originally got his start in promotions such as Chin Woo Men and the King Fighting Championship, accumulating a record of 11-0 before his UFC debut. Before his debut, it was clear he was a talented fighter. Even with one eye, his kickboxing was pretty solid. His knockout power was a real notable feature. He has good timing and precision, which made him a danger at all ranges. Although his grappling hadn't been completely tested, he seemed to have possessed strong defensive awareness. Now, in a bit of an odd situation, before he debuted for the UFC, he got in a bit of a controversy. He found himself assaulting a man in a Dagestani shopping centre in March of 2022. Shara took offence at a man and a woman kissing in front of him on an escalator, so he initiated a brawl. This wasn't great for PR, and his debut in the UFC was postponed till everyone kind of forgot about it. By October of 2023, they obviously thought everyone forgot about it, and he made his debut against Bruno Silva, winning via unanimous decision at UFC 294. He was then scheduled to fight Pereira on the Whittaker-Aliskerov undercard, yet Pereira was pulled to fight Michael Pereira at UFC 301. So he was rescheduled to fight Joliton Lutterbach. Yet Lutterbach then withdrew due to testing positive for a banned substance. So then finally he found himself against Antonio Tricoli, where he won by TKO in round 3 and earned himself Performance of the Night. Then a couple months later he fought again, being the co-main of this UFC Fight Night card, and ended up winning by unanimous decision and winning the Fight of the Night award. Now just a few days ago we saw him back in action again. On the biggest stage, he's certainly impressed. A dominant performance followed by a knockout with a double spinning back fist, and this made him truly go viral. That's why we're talking about him. Whoever's advising him is smart. I thought his choice of callouts wasn't bad at all. Just for thought, he is now ranked 14th in the official rankings, so he's now in place for these bigger fights. His desire is of course to climb the ranks and reach the top, and he's outlined his plan to do so. He wants to fight the likes of Michael Pereira, Kevin Holland, Marvin Vettori, and eventually Israel Adesanya, before Adesanya retires. Fights like Pereira and Holland definitely wouldn't be out of question at all, with these matchups being pretty likely. Of course though, with a bloke like Shara, you're gonna see him with an easier path than others. And why's that? Because he's set to become a promotional darling. He's got the look, the entertaining style, and the willingness to call out whoever. Soon he will be a major attraction on any card, permitting that of course he continues to win. And for the most part, the UFC will want to get the maximum value out of him. I compare him to, say, an active Paddy Pimblett in the way that the UFC will handle him. Don't be surprised to see him get gifted the biggest yet easiest style matchups over his next few fights. The way they handle him promotionally will be a lot more careful than compared to other fighters. That's where the comparison to Pimblett comes in. I'm not comparing their skill sets. The UFC would want to protect his undefeated record and hype him up to the point where they think they could cash out and roll the dice in a mega fight. At least that's my opinion. Let me know if you think the same down below. Yet the only major obstacle involving him that many have brought up is that eye. And why is that a problem? Well, people have questioned his ability to fight anywhere that's not in the Middle East. And why is that? Well, most UFC events are in the United States, and well, it's thought that many of the commissions just simply wouldn't allow him to fight with one eye. Yet with money, there's always a way. He recently revealed he would be allowed to fight in the US. Not every state, but there are many he'll be able to fight in with a special agreement. So don't be surprised to see him make his US debut sometime soon. With that being said, it's most likely his next fight is going to be on that next Saudi card in February. But in the next year, it's certainly going to be a big year for him. If he can keep up this pace and quickly climb the ranks, who knows where he could be in a year or two from now. The UFC sees him as a promotional dream. He's on the rise, yet I guess only time will tell as the level of competition increases how he'll be able to cope, just how good his grappling is, and will his kickboxing be able to compete against a higher level. Although he seems like a bit of a questionable bloke, his rise will absolutely be one to watch. Now, let me know what you guys thought of his performance at UFC 308, and do you see him being able to compete within the elite of the division? Let me know all your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing and liking, it really does a ton to help the channel. But thanks for watching fellas, and I'll catch you in the next one.